How's it going? This is Royal with Talk Show Central RTV style. And tonight we have a little time that I'm opening up to the candidates to come in, those that want to come in and say, some greetings before the weekend. Election day is on March 1st, which is Tuesday. So, man, we're running out of time. So, candidates, if you're hearing me, come on in, send me a message. I'll send you the link. Some of you already got my message, so it's a matter of just, that kind of deal. So, look who's here, man. Believe it or not, I got my first candidate here. Hold on, let me say hi to some folks here. Hey, Maria, hello, blessings. Hey, I'm glad you're here and you're watching us. Abrazos, cariño. Hey, you're awesome. And further ado, here's my friend. Hey, Frank, I'm glad you can join me, man. I thought I was going to be here by myself, but I saw you pull in on the limousine, and I figured, hey, come on down, man. So how you doing, Frank?
Limousine, huh? Limousine. Man, I don't even have a toy limousine. It's always a pleasure to be here. I always look for excuses to come on your show.
Oh man, I tell you, man, you're becoming you're gonna have to buy stock in Talk Show Central RTV style, man.
I'm your Ed McMahon, right?
There you go. Okay,
is that
cool.
an obscure reference? Is that an obscure reference now?
That works. I know. Here's Johnny. So yeah, that works. Why not, man? Yeah. So man, tell me what's going on, man. You're on the campaign trail. You're kissing and hugging the babies and that kind of deal, or.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're not Clinton. You're not kissing the ladies and hugging the babies.
No. No way. Well, one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of the older people ask me to help them with their Amazon stuff that's been dropped off at their door.
Oh, wow.
They need someone to help them pick it up. So when I knock at the door, they say, hey, pick this up. And then I pick it up and say, hey, please vote for me. And they say, well, we'll remember that. We'll remember you helped us.
We'll remember you helped us. Hey, man. Vote for Frank. He'll pick up your packages.
There's some out there.
Hey, look at that, man. I'm getting votes for mayor. Hey, you can write me in as a candidate for mayor.
Oh yeah, do it.
Hey, well, there's a commissioner in Brownsville, Jessica DeTore. She got written in as a candidate. I mean, when I don't forget when it is, but she was written in as a commissioner.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how she won, and she's the only one in Texas history, I believe, or even the United States that might have been written in. Well, female written in as a write-in candidate.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's quite the story. I mean, I always thought people would write in as a protest, Mickey Mouse or whatever as a protest.
Yeah.
You might have some people writing in Donald Trump if he doesn't run.
Oh man, well let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens. And then we have this situation with unfortunately, man, we have this situation with Ukraine, man, and so guys, you need to pray for Ukraine, man, because man, they're really taking it in. But there's stories, man. Russia's running out of gas. Their vehicles, they're using old vehicles, because they had a lot of stuff out there, and a lot of power. And so they're running, they're down the road, and all of a sudden they run out of gas, and the soldiers are there, and so Ukraine is still holding its own, man. Little Ukraine is still holding its own.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and there's been a lot of Russian casualties too.
Yes, definitely on both sides. But I mean, where was I? Man, I'm trying to get to your to just show you a little bit of what I'm sure these numbers, but anyway, where was it? It was here, I think. Yeah. Let me show you this. You're into numbers and all that.
Yeah.
Here, let me show you what this is. All right, hold on. Does this work?
Well, speaking of Ukraine, I think
look at that. I got to go full screen on that one. Look at the power that Russia has here. Yeah. Just in military personnel, 771,000 versus 2,000 Ukrainians. I mean, that could go plus or minus, but still, that's a whole lot. And tanks, and apparently now we're figuring out that the tanks are outdated.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
outdated. So
now the one thing about that is we're giving Ukraine some money now,
yes, yes,
so
and
that can help
some
them.
equipment. We're giving them what are I don't know what they're getting, but they're knocking down those aircrafts, man.
Yeah.
They're
Oh
bringing
yeah.
them down.
They know how to do that. Remember, they did it to a commercial aircraft about 5 or 6 years ago. Um, Now, also the Ukrainian people are coming out. Two notable examples are the Klitschko brothers. Remember them, the boxing champions,
Yes, 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 yeah,
Vitaly
and
and Vladimir. They are actually coming out and joining the army now. Vitaly Klitschko is actually an important politician
yes,
in Ukraine. They're both multimillionaires. They're both older, but they're joining to fight for their country, which
yeah,
is an
yeah.
amazing
And
story.
I mean, yeah, they could have very well said, "Man, I got money. I'll just go over to the Bahamas, or I'll go to New York, or I'll go to Paris, and sit this one out." But man, they're joining in the fight, man. That's very. There's a lot of loyalty and bravery, and just heroic,
No,
and I don't know, loyalty to their country, man, love for their country, that they're willing to do that. It's like you got to honor that. You just got to honor that.
oh, absolutely. It makes you wonder if an athlete in this country would do that.
Ooh,
If we were under
good
attack,
one,
does
good one.
LeBron James and Tom
Yeah,
Brady come out, join forces to
yeah,
fend off an attack? I don't know. Probably not.
yeah,
Probably not. But there is a real loyalty in these Eastern European nations, and I
yeah.
think these people also remember what the old Soviet Union was like. And they
Yes,
don't want that.
yes,
And in the back of my mind, I think in the back of your mind too, we get this feeling that Putin wants to recapture the old
yeah,
Soviet Union and
yeah,
bring it back. He's
yeah.
tried in other ways, so you know there is that fear that that's what he wants to do. Now, the other thing that was scary to me is when we started hearing the word NATO get dragged
Yes,
into this. NATO, once they get dragged in, we get dragged in, and the more involvement we have in this, I mean, sanctions and money, they're going to help not as much as if this thing continues, not as much as the people will want them to see. I,
right.
I think we're going to have to start sending some military over there if NATO gets involved, and that could be pretty ugly. And I believe you were telling me that you even heard the word draft.
Yes, I've been hearing the word draft a lot. I had a chess lesson with one of my students from New York. He's about 24, and we were talking, and he says, he throws out the word draft. Hey, so he says, "Sir, you think we're gonna get uh might get drafted?" And I go, "Well, you never know." John F. Kennedy stood up to the Russians during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Joe Biden has bowed down to Putin. Yes, I had said that at our last show. Sharky and I had a show on Russia. Invades um, uh, Ukraine, right? And I mentioned that. I mentioned, in the '60s there was a Cuban Missile Crisis. They were right here in our backyard, And the thing is that Russians wanted to establish a stronghold, or in chess we call it an outpost, where from here they could be attacking not only Mexico but the United States. And in other words, it becomes a camp inside the enemy territory, and that's secure, and it's hard for the enemy to kick it out, and so yeah, you're right, man. You're totally right, and I think that Ukraine is a stronghold in this case, for them. Let me show you a picture of why I think this is. I mean, where is yeah, here it is. Let me show you this picture here, and this is what I mean by this. Look. Uh, oh man, me too. Something I ate, I guess. But
Yeah.
look at what's going on. Look at this map here. All these arrows are the Russian forces attacking all around. They're surrounding Ukraine and the whole bit, right? And
Yeah.
they want Ukraine because Ukraine has tons and tons of resources,
Yeah.
minerals, and all of that, the riches and all of that. And of course, there you got great farming land, and some of the richest land in the world is in Ukraine, right? Hey, Sharky, come on in, man. I sent you the link. But the thing is this. Let's look at this in the bottom, the picture of the globe in relationship to the world. I don't know if I'm trying to do this.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not a large country, I guess is what you're
No,
getting
but
at.
look at this. Russia is over here, right?
It's
Russia's over here.
huge.
China's over here. It's huge. all of this. But if they establish this as an outpost, look how close they are to Europe.
Oh, definitely. I think that's what they've been getting at all along.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I've
definitely
been,
an outpost.
and they're going to drag NATO forces into this, and that's
Yeah, yeah,
digressing. Yeah, yeah, and I
and
think
and
I
they're
think he wouldn't
they're very
mind.
close to the Black Sea, going into the Mediterranean and all that, and boom, they're out there on the Atlantic, and boom, there's the United States. Or they
Oh
could
yeah.
fly from there to Greenland, Canada, United States, boom. And so it's one of these situations where it's scary, man, because it's chess in real life,
Oh yeah, and it's something that we've been. I don't know about you, but I think I've had that thought about Putin for decades now. As long as I've known him, I've always had that feeling that he wants to recreate, the dominance of the old Soviet Union. And heck,
Yeah.
marching across Europe might be a dream of his. Now, I just want to say one thing about Donald Trump. I don't think that this attack would be as likely. Maybe it would have happened under Trump, but I don't think it would be as likely. And there's a few reasons for that. First off, if you remember, Donald Trump was very sharp with his foreign policy. So he handled ISIS by being
Yeah.
just precision and tough, meaning he found the
Right.
ISIS center and he dropped a MOAB on him. So he
Right. Right.
let him know that he wasn't messing around.
Yeah. Don't
And
mess with the United
also,
States.
and he wasn't afraid to. Remember, he wasn't afraid to take on North Korea. He actually
Oh.
met in the demilitarized zone with Kim Jong Un, and so he was not. He was very sharp with his foreign policy, and he tried to avoid war. He was not a pro. He was definitely not a very hawkish president. He did things to put an end to war before they could start, and that probably didn't make the Pentagon happy at all. I mean,
Well, he came from a position of power. Like, hey, I'm powerful. I can hold my own. Hey, cross the line, that kind of deal. Like,
yeah.
hey, what's up? So, ¿qué onda, vato? Like, what's going on, dude?
Mhm, mhm.
And over here we're like, oh, okay, please don't hurt me. Okay, let's be
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. Oh, and
Anyway,
absolutely. And I also don't think it hurts Biden.
all right, let's see what Bert says. Biden got impeached over a call with Ukraine. Biden armed rebels and threatened Russia before the invasion, and crickets. Well,
Oh man.
come on.
I mean, the Ukrainian president who was a comedian, right? And
Yeah,
now look at the role he's in. Yeah, that was a
yeah,
Trump. Pardon my pun, but that was a trumped up impeachment over that call with Zelensky,
yeah.
and that was just a way to get Donald Trump out. That wasn't anything serious, but I think this actually in some ways can help Biden because you know war can help your approval ratings,
Well,
and
when the numbers are down, create war. That's
that's
always been the policy. That's always been the gameplay. As they say.
Oh, absolutely. It got Bush reelected in '04. I mean, it helped. Well, Clinton attempted to use it to help get out of his Monica
Right,
scandal.
right. Yeah,
Um, so we do know that's a very common way to bring up your approval ratings, um, and maybe that's what Biden wants. We never know. Biden would need about anything to save his presidency at this point. So
yeah,
maybe if he looks like a hero in some way with this action in Ukraine, it's a saving grace of some sorts for him. But it's very sad that that's
yeah.
that's what he has to do. I mean, I guess that if we could do a poll question on this, that would be nice. Do we think that this attack would have happened under Trump? I don't think it's
I don't
likely.
think it would.
I don't think it's likely. I don't think it would have because he was very sharp and swift with his responses in foreign policy, and he made things. He was effective. Now that probably did not make the Pentagon happy. The
Right,
Pentagon
but
probably wanted to get Trump out.
then again, when Trump was in office and every other president before Trump, there was respect for the United States. All foreign leaders and all that, they might not have liked us, but they respected us.
Oh yeah,
They respected us, and they respected the power that we had. That and it makes you wonder. Then once Trump was out, why are they attacking the United States? Because they have no respect for us anymore.
that's true. That
You know,
that's a lot of truth. I think they're looking at us and saying, "Oh man, they were getting back to being that shining city of the hill after the recession and 9/11 and blah blah
hmm
blah," and then they blew it,
yeah,
and they let a virus destroy themselves,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so
That's true. So let me ask you, Frank. I mean, you're running for Congress, and how does all this affect your job that you're gonna take over once you get to the White House?
Well, the few thoughts come to mind. First off, you can never predict the future. So,
Right.
I mean, a month ago, all we were talking about was immigration and inflation and pandemic, and it was over and over again. Everyone I was talking to was about those things. Mask man or vaccine mandates and mask mandates, and they were interesting talks and they were important. But people were asking me what I would do, and I'd stop them and I'd say, "Well, I can't predict what the future is going to be. I don't know what life is going to be like in January of 2023. I mean, this is what my plan would be. I would
Right.
not enforce mask mandates. I would not support mask mandates. I would call for tough immigration policy and enforcement. And as far as inflation, I say we just have to cut stimulus spending. But I don't know if those are even going to be issues come January 2023. And now we're seeing that Ukraine is the top issue. And those things, I'm not going to say they're forgotten about, but we're talking about Ukraine when I'm out on the campaign trail with everybody. So will Ukraine still be an issue when I'm in Congress? That's question number one. Second, it does change things because suddenly we're taking into consideration that our votes on Capitol Hill, and I know I've been up on Capitol Hill during votes that are essentially a declaration of war, where you're putting human lives at
Hmm.
risk. Someone's husband, someone's daughter, someone's brother, someone's sister. You're putting their lives at risk with your vote. That's that's how it changes things. So, come January 2023, if we're saying, "Hey, are we going to enter into the war in Europe? Yay or nay?" I've got to be
Mm.
thinking about that. I mean, just imagine that type of pressure.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
or
It's
what about the instituting a draft? Do I vote yay or nay for that? There's just so many things that could come up. I can't predict the future. I don't know if that's what I'm going to be voting on. I don't know if what that's going to be the bills I'm going to be writing up because you don't know. But I just think we've got to just realize that those are very, very serious votes for responsible people to do. You probably remember after 9/11, there was a lot of wrong turns in hindsight being made by the Bush administration. We all remember them.
right, right.
And there was a little bit of like, we were angry, we were unified, but angry and confused perhaps because,
Yeah,
I mean, it was a terrorist attack by a group that wasn't a country.
right, right. Exactly.
And so who do we declare war on? We ended up going after Afghanistan. We ignored Saudi
Hmm.
Arabia, though a lot of the hijackers were Saudi, and
Right.
we then go into Iraq, and it led to a lot of problems. You know, this this would be different. We'd be going to war against a country essentially, and so
Yeah.
I mean, the vote would be important in this case because our relationship with Russia has, as we all remember, has been up and down for many years. But this could have a dramatic impact on the future of our foreign relations, the future of a lot of Americans. So it will be a very important vote. It will be
Yeah.
a very important vote.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And oh man, so I mean, you got your job just got harder.
Yeah, as if it wasn't hard enough because we've got all
Yeah,
these other issues like
you're
inflation and I still think labor is an issue. I mean, you've got the the vaccine mandate. Imagine telling yourself all this stuff was going to be an issue 3 or 4 years ago. You'd have yourself carted off.
yeah,
You'd
yeah,
say
definitely.
global pandemic, hyperinflation, and come on, what are you talking about? I guess we probably suspect immigration, but then possible war with Russia. I mean, come on, guys. It's a lot of stuff going on all at
Yeah.
once, and didn't seem like didn't seem like we'd have that much on our plate with Trump in
I know,
office. I
right?
don't.
Well, the thing is, Sharky says Putin wouldn't have or would have never attacked with Trump in office. He would have looked for a diplomatic solution before it started. So with Trump, diplomatic solution, diplomatic talks. Let's talk about it, Trump. Let's see what we can do about this situation. But with Biden, it's like not even any talks. It's just wham bam, boom, 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 boom. You
Yeah,
know, again.
yeah. I think you're right, and I do agree with him. It's I don't think this would have happened under Trump, or they know that Trump would have acted swiftly, like he did with the MOAB on ISIS. Okay,
Right.
I'm sorry. What you say?
And Juan Carlos Vera says, Ray, since you are a resident chess master, you need to look at the Ukrainian invasion as a chess match. Putin is playing the long game. He has been planning this for years. The end game is the occupation of the Ukrainian issue. And you know what? He is right. And look, let me show you. Let me share something with you guys. I'm on it. I'm always on it, and you're gonna freak out. This is not the chess show, but this is a chessboard, guys. And this is a situation. This is a very famous game that was played back in 1945 in Moscow, and it was played between two grandmasters. The blacks were playing the Sicilian defense. White, of course, was responding to it. But the idea is that in chess, you have a square such as this. This center square is called an outpost in this situation. It's a square that cannot be attacked by any little pawns. Since there's no little pawns coming into it, we want to place a piece of power in that square. And the piece of power that we want to place is this knight that's going to go there. But we have the enemy knight coming over here. So what Russia's doing, Russia's playing white here. This is what Russia wants to do. He wants to eliminate the problem. So he's gonna eliminate the power. Hold on. I forgot to analyze this. Hold on. What did I do? I thought I did. Okay, there we go. And we analyze it. There we go. So what Russia wants to do, I flipped it around. What Russia wants to do, hold on. Let's say he moves here. Okay, it was black. What Russia wants to do is he wants to get rid of the protector of this square. And so when this guy goes here, then he's going to do. And this is Russia getting into Ukraine. From here, he's going to be attacking squares that are close to the king. And it's going the whole game. Actually, in this actual game that happened, this is game position number 17, move number 17. The game was over in less than 15 moves out, and less than 30 moves from this position, the game was over. Actually, the whole game was 28 moves. This is move number 15. So you can imagine the kind of power that comes into this position with a knight coming to the middle of the board, protected with nobody kick it out. So, guys, that's what's happening. This is why Ukraine is so important, because it's a camp that's closer to the United States. And so, Juan, that kind of answers your question from a chess point of view. And chess is war, you know.
Well, Boyle, I think you're a genius, by the way. I think you are. I was listening to that explanation. I said, "Wow, this guy's really a brilliant man."
Most chess leaders around the world are chess players.
Yeah.
And in medieval times, there was always like a chess sort of board situation where they would move the pieces and strategic. And of course, nowadays they have maps and all of that, but it's not the same, you know. It's not the same. Hola, cielo. ¿Qué tal? The Erasmo is coming in. Señor. They're saying to you.
Hey.
Let's see. This guy says Putin has scored big with Ukraine. Oh, really? Access to warm water ports, big energy and food processors. They will be supplying over 40% of energy to Europe and could feed over 600 million people. How's that for a chess move? True. Yes, and that's why Russia wants Ukraine, because I mean, just the soil in Ukraine is one of the most fertile of all the world, you know.
I think I remember John McCain saying something about how you probably remember it too. He looked into Putin's eyes and he saw KGB. I agree with him, but I also I looked into Putin's eyes and I see Lenin, I see Khrushchev, I see Brezhnev, I see, dare I say it, even Stalin. You know, I mean, this is the guy who wants total control. I think he wants to have that old Soviet dominance. That's really he's.
Yeah, go ahead.
And he's gonna go all out on this to prove his might, and it could be very hard for him. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to drag Europe into it. If he tried to conquer more lands in Europe.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that they study the greats, and they're going to follow the leadership of the greats and the great Russian leaders, and that kind of deal. I mean, good or bad. I mean, they did accomplish some stuff, whether it was terrible or not. I mean, that's why they were the leaders that they were, and so he wants to go in history as the one of the top if not the top leader of all Russia, or at least the top five, and and so it's like,
Oh yeah.
that kind of deal.
I'm sure you also remember Gorbachev. A lot of people still haven't forgiven him for basically crumbling the Soviet Union. And
Yeah,
Boris Yeltsin, remember, he had to try to save it by standing on a tank. It was there's still some hard feelings over that, and I think Putin was one of the people who was hurt by that, and I think he wants to bring back the greatness of Russia. But they don't have the finances. If you look, they don't have the GDP that they would
no,
need to be. They don't have, as you showed, they have good resources. They have a good amount of tanks and a good amount of military, but not enough to have that dominance that they once had.
yeah, it's a shame. I mean, well, it's not a shame, but it's. I mean, I don't know. They're I thought Russia would have blown them out already, and Ukraine is just holding their own. I mean, little Ukraine is just fighting back, and that shows. I mean, those people have heart. Those people have heart. Yeah, the Russians
Tough
are
people.
distinctly looking to push us into a stalemate. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Juan. It's the and and I've said it before. In Russia and in other countries, chess is part of their curriculum. I mean, they grow up studying chess, so they learn to think in strategic ways.
Yeah,
Whereas we sometimes react by feelings and emotion and that kind of deal, and they don't.
yeah,
It's a different it's a different mindset of approaching a war or anything they're going to do, and so I mean, until 1972, uh, the Russians dominated chess until Bobby Fischer went and kicked their butts in '72, and then he defended the title and again, or he had a rematch in '92, and he defeated Boris Spassky once again. So yeah, I mean, nobody else has done that, and now I mean, we do have other champions now, but Russia has always been thought as if we when we think of smart people, we think of Russians.
oh yeah, yeah, very smart people, very like hardcore, serious people. Don't mess with them. I wouldn't want to mess with a Russian. No,
Yeah, you're kind of scared,
yeah,
Today, Ukrainian
very hardcore
president was
people.
offering a way out to safer territory, and he said no. What he wanted was more ammo. Yeah, Mr. Carthy, are you wealthy?
How about this? I'll give you an answer to that. I was prior to this campaign.
It takes money to run. It takes money to run. Hey, I got my good friend coming in. She just called me. Her helicopter is landing. Is landing here
Is it next to my
on
limousine? Is
well,
it
it's
landing next
next
to
to
my
your. Well,
limo?
no, it's your limousine's in the bottom, and my friend's helicopter landed up on next to next to Talk Show Central's RTV's penthouse our skyscraper. Our offices are up in the big skyscraper, and here she is, guys. Angela, how's it
Hey,
going? Hey,
how's it going?
I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here.
I,
So,
I
Glad
yeah,
to
owe
be here.
I
hey,
owe
your hair's cool after that helicopter ride.
Eh. All right.
So cool, man. So, wow, what do you think of this Russia and Ukraine situation?
Oh man, it's a horrible situation. I was watching the news this morning, listening to a young mother with her 5-month-old baby who was trying to get medication, and she, she was going from pharmacy to pharmacy trying to find it, and they were all closed, and she was asking Biden for help. Saying, "Hey, you want to look good? This is your chance to look good. You want to be known as a hero? This is your chance." So we'll see what Biden does about it, but it should have never have gotten to this, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Frank and I we were talking about it, and I'm sure you heard us. And let's see what's going on. Rasmus says, saludos. Ernesto de la Cruz, saludos. Hey, Ernesto, glad
Ernesto,
you're
saludos a todos.
here. uh,
I have to give a public apology here because
yeah,
last time I was on the show, I think it was the last time I was on the show.
right.
Vangela was making comments, and I was saying Vangelina.
It's okay.
I don't know where I got that.
Hey, I've heard it all.
Well, see, the thing is, when I was a little kid, my dad used to do stuff like that all the time with people's names, and I would make fun of them. Well, now my dad's deceased, and I'm at the age that I remember him being at, and I'm making all those mistakes with people's names now too. So it's catching up to me. But Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that earlier. I just think that Trump knew how to send a message on foreign policy, meaning, like we talked about, he handled ISIS by dropping the Moab on its center. He he made it let it be known that he was going to handle the issue and not let it get drawn out.
Right.
Exactly. They were afraid
And
of him.
yeah, they were afraid of him, or they knew that there would be a diplomatic way to handle it, much like he did with Kim Jong Un.
Exactly.
Now Biden, I just think that he needs some approval ratings, and I think that he recognized that the Pentagon wasn't so happy with Trump, so he has to make the Pentagon happy. And the Pentagon wasn't getting a lot of work from Trump, so
Right.
Biden not got to give him some work, and also he needs to get those approval ratings up. We know that, so that's part of the reason I think this is happening, and Putin. As Royal was saying, Putin probably just doesn't have the level of respect for Biden in this administration
No.
that he would for Trump, or you could say probably Reagan and some other presidents. He knows that he's dealing with a pushover. He
Yeah.
really does.
I wouldn't doubt it if like Ecuador or Chile would try to beat up on Biden. I mean, one of these countries are,
You got to look out for those Ecuadorians.
Congo or somebody, come over and try to beat up on on Biden. But it's true,
Luxembourg. Look out for Luxembourg.
Oh my goodness. Let's see what else is. Let's see. You mentioned that Trump would have active devices, so what he would commit U.S. troops and tactical nukes. That's stupid. Well, no, I think Trump would have the means to say, hey, it's my way or the highway, or cross this line or else, or you better do this or else. In other words, there's some with Trump you have consequences. With Biden, it's like, oh,
deterrence.
please don't hit us. Let's all be friends. That kind of deal. From a weak point of view, not from a strong point of view, but from a weak point of view.
Right.
And it's like that. So I don't know.
I think Putin would have seen that Trump will act in some way.
Yes.
I think that's what we're trying to get at. Trump will act in some way.
Yeah.
Biden takes off on his plane and goes to Delaware and lets the Pentagon handle it so they can, get some contracts or whatever. But, Trump would have acted in some way.
Yeah, that's so true.
For
Well,
sure.
cool, man. Well, so Frank, I think you said you could only be here like 30 minutes. Do you still want to stay a little longer, or
Well, as you guys know, I got a big day
Yeah.
Tuesday, as does Angela, and I have to get back to hop in my limousine and get back to work.
There you go, and say hi to that model that you're married to, and kiss your little boy and all of that. And
for the record, guys, I don't even own a toy limousine.
So, guys, make sure we vote for Frank come Monday. Come Tuesday. Election day is March the 1st. Unfortunately, if you didn't vote because you wanted to, unfortunately, if you didn't vote, then you might have forgotten. But hey, you still got March the 1st because that's the last day. That's election day. So vote for Frank, District 34.
God bless you guys. God bless.
Hey, you take care, Frank. Have a good one.
Good
Say hi
seeing
to
you,
the
Frank.
familia.
Good seeing you too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Cool, man. So, hey, it's us now. So what's going on with you?
Well, what's funny is I made a comment in somewhere on Facebook about how Biden could have had harsher sanctions a lot earlier. Could have done more, and I got attacked.
Wow.
Of course, Biden supporters, but
Yeah.
they were like, "Wow!" And you're running for Congress, but it's like, geez, it's horrible the situation that we're seeing, and I do see how different Trump would have done things. There's no doubt.
Yeah. It's a fact, and like I asked Frank, and I'll ask you this question. So, how does this situation make your job harder once you get to the White House?
There's a lot of decisions that we're going to have to make, Congress members, and I guess when I get there, then I'll really find out how much more difficult it makes it. But I know that right now that they're trying to approve, aid. I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of money, and that's something that Congress has to approve.
Right.
So here we are struggling. We're in trillions of dollars in debt, and
And we're
you
sending
know,
money.
and we're sending money to foreign countries. But then when you see videos like the one that I saw this morning, that kind of choked me up. She's holding her 5-month-old, and you
Yeah.
want to help. So
Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
so it's hard, but we've always been looked up to as the country, the strongest
Yeah.
country out there, the one that helps other countries when they are
Hmm.
in need.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. And unfortunately, with this situation, everything else that needs to be handled for us is going to take a back door too. In other words, this all of a sudden will come up as the new agenda, the new it rises up on the agenda list, and better roads, better infrastructure, better this, better things on education, social security,
that's true.
better health,
E-
veterans issues. All of those things are going to go down because we're going to have to be handled. You guys are going to be handling this situation with foreign
right.
affairs.
Everything that we're campaigning on,
Yeah,
except the border. I really do think that the
yeah.
border, I don't think that's going to be put on the back burner. I really don't.
All
I
right.
think that's something that everybody agrees needs to happen, and we're going to push forward with that. But unfortunately, a lot of those other things,
Yeah,
it's gonna have to wait.
and and it's going to make you look it's bad because, hey, what happened? We voted for you for this, but hey, you got more pressing issues that have now or in the future agenda. I mean, they're already coming into play, and
Yeah.
so when you get there, well, guess what? Surprise!
I just hope people, look at whoever the candidate is that wins any of these races. Look at what they're voting for and what they're voting against,
Mm,
and and then make a decision. Is that the kind of person that you want in Congress? Do you want to keep
yeah.
that person in Congress?
What about this? One says the infrastructure bill has been delayed by Republicans for months. What can you say to that? Or
I want to know what their reasons are. I mean, as we
yeah.
know, there's a big division there, and it seems like Republicans don't want to give a win to Biden, just like
Hmm.
when President Trump was president, the Democrats didn't want to give a win to Trump. So
Right.
I think that's what that's really about.
Right.
Um, and my opinion on that is, then they're looking out for their party and not for the people.
Right, right, exactly.
You
And
know.
I think with the new candidates going in, that's going to change because I think the new candidates coming in, the new red, as you might call it, the new red coming in has more of a view that, hey, let's work together
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
and let's work for the people, that kind of deal.
And I've been participating in forums where there's been both Democrats and Republicans, and even the Democrats say the same thing. They want to work together. It's the old, the people that have been there for years and years
The
and
career
years.
politicians.
Exactly. Those are the ones that don't want to work with both sides.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. And that's the reason why we need to vote these new people in. We need to vote Vangela in for Congress. We need to vote Frank in for Congress because these are new people that are going in there with fresh ideas, maybe a different perspective of how to do things. And, that works. I
yeah.
mean, these are modern times. These are new times. We can't work on the same ideas that were working 20 years, 30 years ago, and in some cases, maybe perhaps 20 years ago. I don't know if there's any Republicans or Democrats that have been in office for 30 years, but I'm sure at least 15 to 20 years they
Yeah.
have been. And
Times have changed, strategies have changed.
yeah.
So it's time for a change in Washington. It really is. So
Wow. Let me ask you this. This just comes to mind. What about this no party system? I've been hearing a lot about this no party system. What do you think about that? Oh, look at that.
bipartisanship is virtual, non-existent, and crucial legislation.
Ooh, big words.
Yeah,
Hey, cut that down for us.
it
Break
by
it down.
who me?
Yeah.
He can. Well, if you already deleted it, bipartisanship is virtual, not virtual. I think he meant virtually
Yeah.
non-existent in
Yeah.
crucial legislation. So
Right.
things that have to pass. it's not going to be, both parties are not going to agree to it. It's
Right.
either going to be one or the other,
Hmm.
and it's going to be passed. Like right now, Democrats, why do you think they're trying to pass as much as they can, as many bills as they can? Because they have the House and the Senate, and so they're going to try to push through. Um, and the same thing will happen when Republicans, win the
Yeah.
House
Yeah.
back. It's going to happen to then,
Yeah.
and they're going to push for what they want, you know, um, and
Hmm.
whatever it is that we believe as is crucial.
Right. Right. And hopefully they're good things and not things that don't matter much.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly,
so
exactly.
it's like, well, cool.
But one
Cool.
thing people need to remember, yeah, we're not career politicians, so that means we don't know everything. And going to Washington, we have a lot to learn. We're going to be the freshmen, as I call it,
Right. Right. Yeah.
you know, and we may say, I think I would do this or I would do that, obviously with good intentions. But once you get out there and you learn, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know.
Right. Right.
A lot of information that is shared with congressmen and women that we don't get to see. And
Hmm.
so until we're over there and we see that information and we talk with our fellow congressmen, would we be able to, make a decision? Of course, our viewpoints aren't going to change, but you know, it's just it's getting there and learning. It's like learning.
Yeah.
You never really know how to do a job until you actually get the job.
Right, right. That's true.
You know?
That's true. But it's all about heart. It's the heart and who you're working for. And I think a lot of those politicians go up there, or they have been over there, and they have forgotten who they're working for. They have
Yes.
forgotten, where they come from, and
Yes.
and then they vote for stuff that doesn't even help their community, and in
Yeah.
fact hinders their community, and makes things worse for the community. And they're okay with voting in that way. Is there a bigger picture to that? Well, maybe there is, but it shouldn't be.
Right.
There shouldn't
Right.
be. And I mean, until we stop that, maybe the problem is the politicians. Maybe the problem is big industry
Hmm.
and big business. Maybe they're the problem. Uh, but somewhere along that needs to stop. Either and more than likely the stop's going to come in from a loyal, honorable Congress person that has some dignity and is going to vote the right way.
Hopefully, because I mean, what I'm seeing is politics. Obviously, we know politics can be dirty, but it's dirty on both sides.
Right,
You know,
right.
I mean, we have some great politicians out there, but we have a lot of dirty politicians. And that's why it's important. And I think I'm going to reiterate what I said the last time. It's important that people actually really do their research and know who they're voting for.
Hmm.
Because you know, those politicians, they're really good at speaking and they're
Hmm.
really good at covering up,
Wow.
So
Yeah. You don't get the truth from them most of the time.
no, they know what to say. They say exactly what you want them to hear.
Right.
You know.
So, and they're good at that. And they're very good at that, man. I
Oh
tell you,
yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah.
So cool, man. So, what you've been working on? What you do today? I mean, you got what? Today was Saturday. You got Sunday, Monday, and
Yeah.
Tuesday. Whatever you can get done, because that's election day right there.
Yeah. So I went around and picked up some signs that have been either toppled over. I'm hoping it was the wind, nothing more but the wind.
Right, right.
And trying to hopefully people will see my signs, and then
Yeah,
they're bright yellow, so they should. And what, got my shirt on, both my husband and myself, and we're out there and talking to people, and I mean that's all we can do at this point, and hopefully sway some last minute voters. You know.
wow,
Um, yeah, I do have Newsbacks is sending out something on my behalf to all
wow,
the Republican voters that are registered in District 15. So they
wow.
should be receiving an email on my behalf, and then, well, Newsbacks is sending it on my behalf.
All
And
right.
then, we've got some banners out there, digital banners going up, and so those should be popping up on people's pages as well. So just a little bit of, things that we've been able to do. Um, Besides going out and hosting events. It costs a lot of money to host events,
I bet. Yeah.
so
Yeah, you
uh,
gotta you give them some free food, free drinks, that kind of deal. I mean,
yeah,
even if you just did, Cokes, water, and hot dogs,
yeah,
it still gets
it's
expensive.
something. Yeah,
You rent the place and that kind of deal, and
especially
uh,
with inflation.
yeah, 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 and I
Even
mean,
a hot dog is expensive now.
yeah, 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 it's true. But you know what? You got to do that. You got to because I mean, people expect that from you, and so it's like it's
Yeah.
that kind of deal. And so, where are you camping out? As far as on Tuesday, where are you going to be camping out?
Unfortunately, I have to work because of my job.
Oh wow.
I am the testing coordinator for the district or for the campus,
Uh huh.
and we are administering a test that day.
Oh my goodness.
So I cannot be absent. Afterwards, then I'll figure something out. I know I had a Spectrum News call me, and they wanted to know if I was having a watch party and where it was going to be. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I haven't even had time to think about that. So I really don't know. My husband works that night, so I don't know.
Wow.
I'll think about it.
Wherever you're at, that'll be the watch party. Wherever
That's
friends,
right.
were in, somebody's house or whatever. But
That's
that's
right.
true. They normally have a victory party, and that kind of deal. And so,
Right. Hmm.
and sometimes well, those are expensive too because you have a victory party and obviously you're paying for food, you're paying for drinks, and you're renting a hall or whatever, wherever, a restaurant or whatever it is, and then man, if you don't win and man, all that, but hopefully,
Yeah.
you're obviously I think you're gonna win. But still, it's like, I mean, you poured a lot of money. I mean, somebody asked a question here: Are you rich? I think a question was asked. Where was it? What is it? I think I don't know. It was some question like that. So, are you rich? And Frank says, "Well, not no more." you know because
Well,
you pay I mean, you invest a lot of money into this in the campaign, and
yeah.
especially if you're not taking any favorite money, any bribes or anything from
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
corporate.
No, and if people, there we do have to file, and if people go and see, I haven't made anything. I mean, everything's come out of my pocket from up to now. Like I said, I think I've had three small donors. So it's really been just whatever my husband and I can muster together from our salaries. We were barely started both making a salary where we could be comfortable, and then boom, where that
Boom,
I
you
decided to
decide to
run.
run.
But you know what? He supported me all the way, and
Then
that's what counts.
well,
And
one, because he supports you, and two, because he realizes, man, we need a change up there in the White House,
yeah.
and it's like, wow.
Well, he's a state trooper, and whenever he's going to be working night shifts starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you don't think, he's walking out the door at 7 o'clock at night, and then he's working the border, Operation Lone Star.
Wow.
I worry, he
Yeah.
puts his vest on, and, it worries me knowing that he has to have that gear,
Yeah.
and just to be able to do his job, and the possibilities of what could happen. I mean, look at how many officers have been targeted
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
year alone, and he's not immune to that. And so we just pray and hope that every day, every night, he comes home, you know and when he does come home in the morning and wakes us up with the velcro on his vest, that's like
Yeah.
the best
The
wake up
best sound.
call ever.
Wow. Yeah.
Because we know he's home and he's safe.
Oh,
you
that's
know
cool. That's
yeah.
cool. Man. A big thumbs up for your husband and all of you out there that are in law enforcement. Border patrol, state troopers, police officers all over, police
All of them.
women. It's like that's true. Juan's got something here. When political action communities, PACs,
Pax.
and PACs and special interest groups control Congress by funneling unlimited funds in their campaigns for political parties, the working class will continue to suffer.
That's correct.
That is
And
correct,
and that is exactly what has happened. And I'm going to just say it because I'm going to say it. That is exactly what's happened with Monica de la Cruz. She's been funded by the
Yes,
PAC. So
yes.
And people don't understand. I wish people had the knowledge that Mr. Vega has, because maybe they would think harder about who they're voting for. But yeah, it's true. And I was asked that. I was interviewed um, earlier this week on Monday, I believe, by Channel 5, and that was one of the questions that they asked me. They didn't air my response, but I was asked about that.
Right.
So yeah.
Wow. Here's a positive here, Miss Churchill. I've read your answers in Bullet Pond. Unfortunately, I do not live in your district, but I respect your answers as an educator. As an educator, I hope you can empathize with what teachers have to endure. Yes,
Most
definitely.
definitely, Mr. Vega. As a lifelong educator, I see what teachers are going through, and this has probably been the roughest year for any educator ever. There, and it's been really hard, because trying to get back into the vibe of things, we're having to teach discipline all over again, and
Hmm.
classroom, kids aren't used to it. They've been out of it. And then we have some really good parents, but then we have some parents that just, they don't support us. They take sides with their kids,
Yeah.
and they don't care what happened, what really happened. I think you said the other day, um when we were in school, the
Oh
teacher was
yeah.
always right.
Yeah. The teacher was always right.
Yeah, it's not
Be-
like that anymore.
and and that's unfortunately that you teachers, you educators have no respect. I mean, they don't respect you like they used to when we were kids. It's like,
Yeah,
man, if I got in trouble, the teacher would, the principal, everybody would get after me, that kind of deal. And then when I got home, I would,
you
you
got
can
it
tell
again.
I got it again. I got a spanking. It's like,
Yeah,
and you better behave over there. And not only that, I remember, other parents, telling their kids, or even my parents, hey, and you need to tell your teacher you're sorry you behaved that way, which
yeah,
is something that's unheard of now.
yes,
Maybe you could, maybe okay, don't do it again. You maybe have a good parent out there that says okay, this and that, but you don't see a parent telling their kid, hey, go tell your teacher you're sorry you're behaving
yeah,
this way, and then change.
yeah,
And I mean that has, I mean. The fact that a student would go and tell a teacher that he's sorry for his behavior, that says a lot. That says a lot.
yeah.
I think, and I don't think you guys ever hear that. I don't know.
Uh, no, not really. I will say, this year I'm not in charge of discipline, but when I was, that was one of the things that I used to make students do. If they
Good.
got a referral from a teacher, that was part of and I don't want to say it was a consequence, but after having a heartfelt talk with the students, I would say, now, if I were you, I would go apologize to your teacher, because you're going to be with that teacher for the rest of the year.
Right.
And I would later on go ask the teacher, hey, did he come and apologize to you? Oh yeah, he did. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they're not taught to do that at home. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And
but I will tell
that's
you, our teachers work hard just to plan a lesson, an engaging
no.
lesson with rigor. It takes a long time, and I really wish parents would see that. And they don't. A lot of times they don't see what they go through. So I just wanted
Yeah.
to mention that, because I do have a lot of teachers out there that support me, and and I don't say that just to get their support, but I say it because I see it.
Right. It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Wow. Well, man. I mean, it's like a total different battle going on over here, the teachers and students and parents, and it's like, instead of the teachers and the parents being allies, it's like they're against them, and it's
yeah.
like, it's unfortunate. I think in a school, maybe 20% of the parents are good parents, or maybe 40% of the parents are good parents, or what's the
Well,
percentage without I know that's gonna be bad to say, but I
it's
mean the percentage of good parents is a whole lot less than the parents that are good parents. I think. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's hard to say,
Well, not good
because
parents, maybe not bad parents, but just parents that are not focusing completely on discipline.
it's hard to say this year, just because I am new to the district that I'm serving in right now, and because of COVID, it's been really hard to have parental involvement and get them to the school. But I do believe that if we could get parents more involved, in school activities, that would probably change a lot. In
Hmm.
previous districts where I've worked at, including La Jolla, we did have a parent, parental involvement. We did have parents there at the campus on a daily basis,
Wow.
and I mean, we did have we and we do. I know we have some really good parents out there. I just don't see it because they're not able to come to the school. It's just really, it's a handful of, a handful. And unfortunately, just like the way that we see one bad cop, now everybody thinks all cops are
Yeah,
bad. The
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing, when you see one bad parent, you think all parents are bad, and that's
Right,
not the
right.
way it is. We do have some
Okay.
really good parents out there.
Well, great, great. That's good to know because we need a whole lot of great parents to
We
change.
do. We
We
do.
to change this next generation. Because as they say, it's the children are our future. Teach them
Yes.
well, and so
I
goes
think
the song. But
Right.
it's
I think
true.
the difference is the age of the parents. When
They're younger.
sometimes when I see a parent come in, I'm like, "Oh, is that your sister?" "No,
Yeah,
that's my
right.
mom." And it's just
Wow.
that, a lot of these parents started a lot younger, and so, I
Hmm.
think it's lack of experience.
Yeah,
A lot of times they're their friends more than they are a parent.
yeah.
So, there's a lot of different factors I think that go into it.
Yeah, you get a lot of these like the cool mom type of
Yeah.
terms and the cool dad, and it's like you know, you're right. It's their age. It's kids having kids, and so they're growing up almost together. It's
Yeah.
like they're the older brother or older sister,
Yeah.
especially if they live at home. With grandma and grandpa, and so it's like I mean that dynamic right there is must be really interesting there. I mean, I wonder how the child sees the parent. If they actually see them as a mom and dad, or if they see them,
Right.
sometimes they're single moms or single kids. It's like,
Right.
and so
And I think
you're,
another thing that we have to take into consideration is their living conditions. A lot of our families, we have so many families that live at the poverty level, and so they don't have all the resources available to them, and that does affect them. Just the other day, I had a student come up to me and ask me, "Hey, Miss, do you have an extra backpack? Mine broke, and I really need it."
yeah.
And so what I that night I came home, I went and I bought him a backpack and took it to him the next day.
Wow.
And our kids need, or they're
Yeah, yeah,
needy.
yeah,
They have
yeah, yeah.
needs.
Yeah, that's true. Well, anyway, I have a question, a real serious question, and I really hate
Okay.
to bring it up, but hey, it's the comment. So here it goes. I hate to ask you such a serious question and put you on the spot, but really would like to know what's your favorite football team?
Hi,
Ay,
Mr.
Juanito.
Vega. A lot of people think I should be a Seattle Seahawks fan because I was born in Spokane, Washington, and moved
Yeah,
here as a young child, but I'm not. My family, my siblings, they're all Seattle Seahawks fan,
yeah.
and I'm married to a 49ers fan.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yes, and I lived in Houston, so I could be a
Oh my goodness.
Texans fan. But from a young age, that we moved here, all I saw around me was Cowboys. So I kind of have to go for the Cowboys.
America's team.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, America's team's the only team that God watches. You go to well, it's no, they don't play anymore. But Irving Stadium, the dome
Yes,
had an opening up there, so God could watch the Dallas
God can
Cowboys
watch
play.
them play. That's right. What about you, Mr. Vega? What's your team?
There you go.
I want to know
I
who
wonder
goes.
who is his favorite football team.
That's
So wow, man, we had fun, man. Man, you're becoming a regular here. You were here just last couple of days ago. You were
yeah.
here, and then
Hmm.
before that, you were here. It's like you and Franklin are constantly coming on. So that I like that. I hope to see that happen more,
Yes.
especially after March the 1st. Dice puro cowboy.
All
Eso.
right. All right. I
Yeah.
said the right words, huh, Mr. Vega?
Yeah, you would have said something else. You're out of here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not voting for you. No, and you
No,
know what? I just want people to know, regardless of the results, my intentions are not going to change. I did. I, I s- I had a group email me Puede is the name of the group, and they're all for dual language.
Yeah.
And they invited me to be a part of some well, some Zooms, some webinars that they have,
Right.
and I said, of course, and I would like to participate more and know more, because there are parents that are involved in that. And then and he said, oh, we're excited that a candidate is actually for Congress is actually participating in this. And then I told him, look, regardless of the results, I still want to continue
Right.
participating in this. And the same thing with all my intentions. It Win or lose, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna continue on. I will look at this. If I don't make it for some reason, we know that's not going to happen, right? No, but if
Right.
I
Right.
don't make it for some reason or another, I have 2.5 years to campaign,
There you go.
and that's the way I'm going to
And
look
you'll
at it.
definitely make it the next time, right? The thing is this, let me throw this one at you. We know you're going to win. So, what is your plan? How are you going to communicate with us after you win?
It's a very like Sarah Kennedy said the other day. It's a fajita strip, right?
Right,
So
right,
it's really long. And so, well, of course, living in Edinburgh, obviously, it's going to be easier for me to communicate with the people in the valley, even though when I'm in Washington, obviously
right,
that wouldn't happen.
right.
Um, but I was, my thought is to have a couple of offices within the district in different areas, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
even have some sort of like a district manager, somebody that can be there and rotate throughout the week. But uh, look at the way we're communicating right now.
I
You
think
know,
that's what I was going to say. You know what? When you're in office, I would love for you to come in this once or twice a month, or maybe at least three times every 3 months, a quarter, and just talk about what's going on in the White House. You know what? That doesn't happen.
and it should.
And it should, because they should. I mean, you guys that are up there at the White House should be telling us what's going on. I
Right.
mean, I can almost, I would even dare to say at least weekly, but I know that's out of the question. It's hard. Maybe monthly, but that again, that might be hard. But at least every 2 months or every 3 months. Every 3 months, I think that's 4 times a year. Man, that would be more than we get now.
The thing is, candidates are out there on the campaign trail, and they're wanting to talk to as many people, and they ask them, what do you want, what do you need, how can we help you, and they take all these notes and make all these promises, and then they get to Washington and they never see that person again until
Yeah.
election time comes around. And it shouldn't be that way. If
Right.
you're representing a district, you need to be visible,
Hmm.
and you need to be you need to listen to what the needs and the wants are, and communicate with them. That's what it's all about.
Exactly, and I agree with you. And I'm hoping that more candidates will do that. And hey, out there, all you candidates out there, hey, Talk Show Central RTV Styles opens its doors for you to come in and just talk to the citizens about what you are doing at the White House. You know,
Yep.
and I think that's the least. I mean, we need that. We need that, and we want that, and we want that. That's what we want. That's
That's
what we
what
want.
that's what the people want, and we are
Yeah.
working for the people. Yeah.
Exactly. And I like your heart. I like your passion for that, Angela. And man, I wish you all the best. I wish you great success. I'm hoping you win on March 1st and then go on in November as the Republican champion and totally destroy the Democratic champion and take over the position of District 15 Congress lady.
I appreciate your support. I really do.
Wow, you're awesome. Well, it's been an hour. I think we're gonna call it a night here. Um, hey, any last words?
No, I just anybody that hasn't gone out to vote yet. I mean, you like you said earlier, you still have Tuesday. It's not too late. Just today, I was reminding my 23-year-old son, "Hey, you haven't gone out to vote yet. You need to make sure you go Tuesday." Where do I go? And like, I'll send you the location. Don't worry. So, yeah, go out there. I know we get busy. We work. People work during the week. Things happen. But you want to make sure that you choose who you want to represent you. And if you don't
Yeah.
vote, you don't get that say. Thank you,
Cool deal.
Mr. Vega. I really appreciate it.
And so, yeah. So, guys, it's that time. So here comes the music. Vangela, we'll see you next
Bye,
time.
everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks
You
for
guys
watching.
have an awesome weekend. Have a blessed Sunday, and we'll see you. Actually, we'll see you tomorrow. I have a show tomorrow with an author. Bye-bye.